Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Tangela, but my friends call me Tan. Let's go ahead and get into the video. In today's video, I'm doing a collaboration for the Christmas in July with our host, Aria at DIY with Aria, and also Lowly D's Creation, and that's with Lowly. And we have our guest host this month, which is Buffy at Buffy Designs. Please check out their channels and let them know that Tan sent you and show them some love by giving them a like. Here I have an old sign that I purchased from Dollar Tree, honestly, years ago. So I'm not sure if they still have it. But we're going to remove the plastic off of this sign. And then we're going to get it painted with some Waverly chalk paint and cashew. And we're just going to paint the entire top side of this sign. And I believe, and it only took one coat of this chalk paint. And after that, we're going to use some Mod Podge and matte to also cover the sign. We're just going to put the Mod Podge over the top of it. And as you may know, Mod Podge goes on white, but it dries clear. But it's not going to truly matter for this decoupage sign that I'm making here. I just took my heat gun to get a quick dry. And while I'm putting that Mod Podge on, I just want to remind you guys to please hit that like button. It really helps my channel grow. And if you like what you're seeing in this video, please consider subscribing. It's totally free. I really would appreciate it. And when putting on the Mod Podge, make sure that you're getting all the edges as well, the middle and the edges. And this is the napkin that I'm going to decoupage onto that sign. And those napkins came from Goodwill. And I usually use painter's tape to remove my ply, but I just use some Scotch tape, as you saw there. So we're going to remove all the plies. For this particular napkin, there was only two, including my top piece that I want to keep. So when I was removing that ply, I could tell the napkins were old because it was, taking a little strength to pull that apart. And you want to be careful so you don't tear your napkin. But we finally got it off. And then what I'm going to do after that Mod Podge and paint dried, I cut off what I needed for my sign. And then we're just going to place it on there. And you'll see me take a piece of parchment paper to protect the napkin. And then my little small Cricut iron. And that parchment paper, again, is just protecting the napkin. And it's causing, the heat is causing the Mod Podge to reactivate. And that allows the Mod Podge to adhere very nicely to your design. And again, you want to get the edges as well as the middle. And just make sure everything is glued down. And after getting it glued down, you want to just get you can get an emery board. I'm going to use my sanding block. And you're just going to go in downward strokes to remove the excess napkin. Just down, exactly like that. And after sanding that down, this is how it turned out. And it's you can hang it or you can just let it lean. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Here I have a set of these 8-inch wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. And I still like that you get 2 of those for the $1.25 or the $1.50, because again, I've had these in my stash for a long time as well. So I'm going to take some of my leftover chunky yarn here. That yarn originally came from Hobby Lobby. And we're going to use that to make this wreath. So I'm going to attach the yarn with some hot glue. And we're going to get started right there at one of those solid sections, that solid wire piece there. And after removing what I needed from that whole big bundle so that it's easier to manage, as you can see, I'm just taking the yarn and we're just wrapping it around the entire wreath. And you want to kind of pull it taut just so that it's tightly and neatly put onto the wreath. And I stopped along the way periodically just to put a little bit of hot glue, just to keep the wreath from unraveling. So after wrapping everything up, I'm going to take these little pine cones. Sorry about that. These little pine cones that I picked up, and I got those last year after the holiday on sale. So they were like little ornaments. So I just removed those, the little hangers that came with them. And I'm going to take just 4 of them, I believe. Yeah, I think I just used 4. And we're going to hot glue those onto the wreath, right on top of the yarn. These little pine cones are so cute. So after you placing the pine cones, I got these greenery pieces that I picked up. I believe that bunch came from Dollar Tree. If not, it definitely came from Walmart. So I just, clip those off so that I can use them onto the wreath. So I'm just placing those, as you can see, in between the pine cones. I love the colors of like chocolate brown or brown and green. It just looks good. And against that white background, that's really cute to me. So that's why I decided to do this particular wreath. And it's very easy, as you can see. So we just finish applying all the greenery. I made a little hanger. That's a little wired jute hanger I'm making. And I also hot glued that onto the back. And then I used a piece of thin cardboard from a package just to give it a little stronger stability. Now I use these lights, these star lights, because I didn't find my fairy lights. So fairy lights would work better. Here I have this lantern that I picked up from the Goodwill. And we're going to make this lantern look a little bit better. So first I took this piece of cardboard here, and I'm just going to trace out the bottom of it so that it'll have a floor. I didn't use any wood because I don't want to make it a permanent bottom. I want to be able to just take it and, put it on top of something, whether it's being flowers or candles. So after tracing that out, we're going to get it cut out. And I'm going to take this acrylic paint that I got from Dollar Tree. It's white, as you can see. This is not my favorite paint, but for this project, I can deal with this paint. But I used 2 coats on the cardboard. And yes, I did take a paper towel to paint that on. It was a small piece of cardboard, and it was just quicker for me to do it that way, guys. But if you want to use a brush, feel free. And I use my heat gun just to give it a quick dry. And then we're going to set that aside a moment. We're going to remove the tag, of course, off of the lantern. And I use my heat gun just to help me with that. And then after wiping it off, we're going to go ahead and decorate. I'm not going to paint it or anything. I think it looks fine just the way it is. So I have this little bunch of leaves that I had left over from another project. And those came from Walmart. And I'm sorry, I don't know which flower it was that I used, but I'm going to use these leaves for this lantern. So what I did was pluck those off. And we're going to cut those little nibs or whatever you call those, that little ending part of the stem, so that it'll lay flat onto the lantern. And then I just hot glued the leaves together, and I did that in pairs where I just crisscross the leaves. So carefully with the hot glue, I did the crisscross on each of these. I did have one where I only had one left. I did not have enough to make a pair, but I still used it. And then what we're going to do is hot glue those leaves onto the top of the lantern. And you might have to hold it there for a few minutes, but it sticks quickly. So after getting those on, we want to continue with our project and just use those very small pine cone ornaments. And as you're going to see here, I just removed those little hangers because, they were ornaments. And I don't need the hangers. So what I did was take each little pine cone and stuck it right there in the middle of the leaf that I prepared. And we're going to get those glued down. And this is what it looks like so far. Now we're going to go back to our little painted cardboard piece. And I want to add something to it. This little cute little wreath that's already made up. It came off of another package, I believe, or project. So we're just going to hot glue it onto the cardboard. And be very careful because the hot glue can come through, things. And then I want to add this little tea light candle. And I didn't want to make it permanent. That's why I didn't glue it down, because we have to turn it on and off. But this is how it turned out, and I think it turned out really, really cute. I really like this one. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Here are all 3 projects of today's video. I truly hope you all enjoyed them. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the like button. That helps my channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video.